Alright, what's going on guys, it's Rest, and in this video I want to go over the Dead Man's Hand. If you enjoy finding this video helpful in any way, consider subscribing and dropping a like. It's free, it really helps me out, and I truly appreciate it. Now looking at the thumbnail of this video, that's some very hefty words saying that this is the best in the game. And in my opinion, I honestly believe that it is. This is hands down my new favorite exotic in Destiny, and I want to explain to you guys why. So starting off, if you actually don't know what the Dead Man's Tail is, it is a new exotic scout rifle that goes in your kinetic slot, and it's actually obtained from a very cool exotic quest which takes you on board of a Cabal ship that's floating out in space, and you have to go through all these secret areas and fight a boss at the end. If you need a guide on actually how to complete this, a bunch of other amazing content creators have already made this, and I would definitely recommend going and check all of theirs out. So with the base gun alone, this weapon already has a great feel to it. It's a 120 RPM scout rifle, which is unique in its own category, but it also has the exotic perk Cranial Spike, so when you chain precision hits, it's gonna grant bonus damage and quickness to your reload speed. This can stack up to 5 times, and every single stack gives you an increase in effect, and it makes it a very fun exotic perk. When you first obtain this weapon, you're actually gonna get the transformative perk, which just means that future drops of this weapon is gonna have random rolls. Now if we actually take a look at the rolls that you can get on this scout rifle, you have all your normal barrels and all your normal rounds that you can get on pretty much any weapon in the game. Then on top of that, you have some stocks that also can roll randomly, but then the main perks that everybody wants to know, you have subsistence, outlaw, killing wind, snapshot, moving target, vorpal weapon, and 4 times the charm. All of these perks can have their own unique benefits in both PvE and PvP, and in my opinion, for PvE, hands down, subsistence is the best perk. I was originally thinking I want to outlaw on this thing, but I'm telling you, if you get subsistence, it is almost like it's a different exotic. If you don't know what subsistence does, it's basically going to make it when you get a kill, you're going to add ammo to the magazine, but you do have decreased reserves. But since you're using a scout rifle, you're going to pretty much always be one-shotting lower tier enemies, especially with this one. So having that decreased reserve is really not that noticeable, since it only takes 1 shot to kill an enemy. You're always going to be picking primary ammo up, and this perk alone is pretty much just making it so you never have to reload the gun. Now for PvP, there's a couple different routes you can go. You have things like kill and win, which will work nice, but you don't really need more range on a scout rifle. Outlaw will also work very well to reload the gun. Subsistence is also not even that bad. You have snapshot to aim down the sight faster, and even moving target. But honestly, in my opinion, this weapon already has very good hit detection, and moving target might be overkill for it. Honestly, in my opinion, outlaw is probably the best perk because the gun already zooms down very quickly, and when we get to the catalyst, you probably aren't even going to be aiming down the sight anyway. Kill and win could also work well, but in PvP, this is more up to your playstyle, and it's not a specific perk that you really need to go for. But in PvE, I would 100% recommend trying to get subsistence if you're going to use this as your main weapon. So talking about the catalyst, what does it do and how do you get it? So the way you get it is after you beat the first exotic mission, you're actually going to be able to go into the master version of this mission. Then simply just beat that and you're going to get the catalyst to drop. Again, if you need a guide on how to complete the master version, since it is harder and has a timer, there are a bunch of other amazing content creators that have already made guides, and I would definitely recommend checking theirs out. So the catalyst is actually going to make it so you're going to have increased hipfire accuracy, and you have no hipfire accuracy penalties. So essentially, hipfire on this gun is going to be literally just like aiming down sights. That is already very appealing, but obviously the most appealing part is that you're going to get increased fire rate. So if you're hipfire, this is actually going to make your 120 RPM scout rifle go to a 150 RPM scout rifle. Not only is this going to increase your time to kill in Crucible, but in PvE, it's also going to let you add clear even faster with it. Since this scout rifle already one-shots pretty much every lower tier enemy in the game, especially once you have the exotic perk proc, so having your gun be able to hipfire faster to kill these lower tier enemies quicker is going to be very nice. With this catalyst, it's almost like you don't ever even want to aim down sights at all unless enemies are super far away and you need to hit a crit. In my opinion, this is what makes this gun super fun and one of my favorite exotics in the game. I'm a sucker for Western lever action style weapons. As you probably noticed in the thumbnail, I had Ash hidden in there. She is by far one of my favorite DPS characters in Overwatch simply because of her lever action rifle. I've always been a fan of these style of weapons, and having it in Destiny just feels so good to me, and I love that they added this. This is by far one of the most fun exotics they've added in a while, and I would definitely 100% recommend trying to get this and its catalyst. So if all that hasn't convinced you that you should try to get this weapon yet, just know that the playstyle of this is very fun, especially in PvE. I know most people would probably view this as a PvP weapon, but in PvE, it shines extremely extremely well. And the reason for that is you can actually use something like a legendary rocket launcher to still be efficient at boss DPS, or even you can still use something like falling guillotine and it's still going to perform very well even after the nerf. You can also pair this with something like salvage or salvo to have a nice ad clear. You essentially just have your grenade launcher just able to kill everything that's grouped up. Then you also have a dead man's hand for long range and close range. And like I said, if you have something like subsistence on it, you're never going to have to reload it. You can just fly through content, constantly hip firing it, aim down sight if you ever need to fire a long range target, never have to reload the gun, and you can speed run a bunch of content. Overall, I would rate this weapon a 10 out of 10. And like I said, I know it's crazy to say, but I think this is now my favorite exotic in Destiny. Not Destiny 2, in all of Destiny. This is 100% gonna be my go-to. Sorry, Outbreak Problem, you're now out of the loop and we have a new king in the game. But thank you all so much for watching. If you actually would like to see a build on that whole thing I was just talking about with salvage or salvo and this weapon, I can do that. With the new seasonal mods, it makes the dead man's tail even better because you have things like anti-barrier scout. So it makes what already is very good even stronger. But yeah, like I said, that's gonna be all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.